Hey everybody. We got one last shot at it this week. Barack Obama continues to truck illegals into this country by the millions. While the federal government has its thumb up its ass, Russia is busy hacking the Pentagon. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani praises Donald Trump, calling him someone who has, quote, a little bit of Reagan in him. And the dream of a free and open internet is slowly being killed by overregulation, censorship, and bad laws. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Real Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com, and on Facebook, and on YouTube, and on Tumblr, and in the book Real Truth, Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM The Lion. The call-in number, you should be able to tell me what it is by now, 877-254-7524. My friends, let's finish off this week in style. Item from Breitbart. The Obama administration has issued more than 7.4 million work permits to foreign nationals from 2009 to 2014, beyond the approximately 1 million lawful permanent residents and 700,000 foreign guest workers admitted to the U.S. each year. In written responses to the Senate Judiciary, Immigration, and the National Interest Subcommittee, Republicans obtained by Breitbart News, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services reveals that the Obama administration has been approving work authorizations for immigrants beyond admission limits, and for some categories of immigrants that Congress never intended to work in the United States. Green card holders and foreign nationals on guest worker visas do not need work authorizations. Beyond those limits each year, these new and renewed work permit approvals amounted to about 1.23 million in 2009, 1.08 million in fiscal 2010, 970,000 plus in fiscal year 2011, 1.25 million in 2012, 1.68 million in 2013, and 1.24 million in fiscal year 2014. Unquote. My friends, if your direst enemy was in a rowboat and you had a chance to sink it, what would you do? Well, obviously, you would toss heavy objects into the boat in order to sink it, right? Well, that's what our president is doing. He is taking absolutely every opportunity he has to weaken, to cripple this country, to destroy this country. I got to give credit where credit's due. He's doing a very good job. But we've got to reverse this direction fast. Where are our elected officials in Congress to prevent this? They're not preventing anything. In fact, almost all of them are in cahoots with him. Item from CNBC. U.S. officials tell NBC News that Russia launched a sophisticated cyber attack against the Pentagon's Joint Staff unclassified email system, which has been shut down and taken offline for nearly 2 weeks. According to the officials, the sophisticated cyber intrusion occurred sometime around July 25th and affected some 4,000 military and civilian personnel working for the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Unquote. My friends, when you go to the airport, you still taking off your shoes? Still taking off your belts? Still going through those x-ray scanners? Still having strangers run their hands up and down your body? Well, that's good. For a second, I was afraid we might be liable to intrusions from foreign countries. Item from RealClearPolitics.com. In an appearance on MSNBC's Hardball Wednesday evening, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani praised Donald Trump, saying he has a little bit of Reagan in him. Quote, "First of all, he's not a Roman candle," Giuliani told host Chris Matthews. "This is a very smart guy. This is a person who's media savvy in ways that some of the other candidates aren't. And he's a lot more substantive than you realize. I've known Donald 25 years, meaning he understands a lot of the world issues with a lot more depth than you probably realize. So we might have a little of a Ronald Reagan here, a guy that they underestimate," Giuliani observed. "In my particular case, I'm personal friends with 5 or 6 of them. I have a hard time deciding who I'd like to see be president, and I'm probably going to take a little while, but I expect Donald Trump is going to do pretty darn well tomorrow night," unquote. Of course, my friends, that means tonight. Tonight is the first Republican debate, 9 p.m. Eastern Time I recommend that you watch it, and then afterwards I recommend that you read the analyses of it. And by the way, if you want to know what really went down, you come back right here on Monday and I will tell you. Item from the Associated Press, Dateline Las Vegas. The dream of a free and open internet is slowly being killed by overregulation, censorship, and bad laws that don't stop the right people, a top computer crime defense lawyer says. The annual Black Hat Computer Security Conference in Las Vegas kicked off on Wednesday with a keynote address from Jennifer Granick, Director of Civil Liberties at the Stanford Center for Internet and Society. Granick said that while the Internet needs to be reasonably safe in order to be functional, it's no longer the revolutionary place it was 20 years ago. No one is murdering the dream of an open Internet, she said, but it's withering away because no one is prioritizing its protection. On top of that, new Internet users are coming from countries whose citizens are not protected by a Bill of Rights or a First Amendment. Unquote. My friends, make no mistake about it. The freedom of the Internet is under attack, and we have to defend it. Item from the Holy New York Times. This comes from the founder and CEO of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, who is being floated as a possible Democratic contender for the presidency. Schultz writes the following. From the earliest days of Starbucks, I've been captivated by the art of leadership. I was mentored over 3 decades by Warren G. Bennis, the eminent professor and scholar on leadership. I've gathered insights from peers and I've drawn inspiration from our 300,000 employees, but nothing I've read or heard in the past few years has rivaled the power of the image I viewed on my cell phone a few years ago. Pope Francis, shortly after his election, kneeling and washing the feet of a dozen prisoners in Rome. In recent years, I've taken to recalling that humble, inspiring act of servant leadership as I observed the antithesis, a field of presidential aspirants unable to rise above petty politics. I know candidates want to play to the party faithful during the primary season, but the challenges facing us today are too dire for another status quo election. We cannot afford more false promises, slogans, theatrics, and fool's gold. Our nation has been profoundly damaged by a lack of civility and courage in Washington, where leaders of both parties have abdicated their responsibility to forge reasonable compromises to expand the economy, rebuild our infrastructure, improve schools, transform blah, 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 blah. My friends, Howard Schultz is a Democrat, meaning he's got nothing real and valuable to offer in the way of policy, but he makes a very good point. We are beyond the stage of politics as usual. Politics as usual is murdering this country. And that's why I'm looking at Donald Trump as a possible solution. It's Thursday, and it's Real Truth, and I'm going nowhere for the next 45 minutes. I'll be right back.
It's nothing more than a shot in the dark. If you're taking supplements or following health programs without an accurate scientific evaluation of your health, from the comfort of your home or office, you can work personally with health expert Eileen Durfee, a Dr. Wilson health practitioner who scientifically evaluates your current health and provides you a personalized program and affordable products. Get real results, get nutritional balancing, and go healthynext.com. Call 866-463-4533. That's 866-463-4533.
Riell Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom catered capabilities from emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Place Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com.
now already in the world for job form one.
All right, guys, after you watch the Republican debate tonight, write to me on my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio. Let me know what you thought. Now, here is Dick Morris via video talking about what else tonight's debate. He's got some good insights. Let's listen. Thank you very much, Dick Morris. My friends, do watch the debate and do let me know what you thought. Go to my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio. Let me know. Item from Patna, India, via Reuters. Authorities in an East Indian state have made it mandatory for candidates contesting village elections to have a toilet in their home as part of a move to improve sanitation in the country, a senior official said. Unquote. Well, my friends, if Hillary Clinton is looking for a job, she can go to India and get elected because every time she opens her mouth, everybody realizes she's got a toilet. Item from Reuters. A U.S. senator said on Wednesday he was alarmed by reports of an FBI alert that relatives of U.S. military personnel in Colorado and Wyoming were harassed outside their homes by Middle Eastern men who may have had them under surveillance. Unquote. My friends, if this U.S. senator was truly alarmed by such reports, he would get busy trying to solve the problem, which would be moving Middle Eastern men the hell out of the United States of America. Item from Reuters. I am alarmed by reports out of Denver that military members' families have been harassed outside their homes and may be under surveillance, Senator Cory Gardner, Republican from Colorado, said in a statement. According to a copy of the alert published online by Denver's CBS affiliate, the wife of a U.S. military member was approached in front of her home in Colorado in May by two men who stated that she was married to a U.S. interrogator. Unquote. My friends, you want the problem to go away? Good. Shut down the mosques permanently. Item from the Daily Mail. If you're looking to spice up your sex life these days, you are rather spoiled for choice. But it seems the avalanche of information available in magazines, movies, and books and the internet is turning out to be a turnoff. Couples are now so bombarded with messages about how sex ought to be that they feel under pressure and avoid it altogether. Unquote. My friends, I've spoken on this show many times about the lamentable fact that we live in a hyper-sexualized society where sex is used to sell just about everything. Well, it's a problem. And like every other problem, we need to get busy solving it. Letting the advertisers out there know that if they continue to shove pictures and messages about sex in our faces, we will not spend a dime on their products. Item from the Jerusalem Post, Dateline, Berlin. The Simon Wiesenthal Center called on German Justice Minister Heiko Maas on Monday to condemn outbreaks of anti-Semitism at the Maccabee Games. In a letter to the minister, Dr. Shimon Samuels, the center's director for international relations, protested what he called the Jew-baiting of Maccabee athletes at the Berlin Games. He praised Maas for welcoming the Maccabee Games to Berlin and calling it a gift that Germany after the Holocaust did not deserve. Although German President Joachim Gauck has said that he's very moved that the Maccabee Games had chosen Berlin, Samuels wrote in the letter, quote, apparently not everyone shared the president's sentiments. Samuels cited three examples of the Jew-baiting that athletes had faced. Quote, anti-Semitic taunting reportedly by German Muslims of Maccabee athletes at the Hotel Estrell, which hosted several of the teams. Neo-Nazi threats against them on the internet. And a leftist journalist, Silke Burmester, deprecating the athletes. Writing on Twitter, Burmaker asked, what are these Jewish sports festivals? And he asked, quote, have the Jews had their own Olympic Games since 1936? In a separate tweet, she wrote, the Jewish sport has again arrived in Berlin. What should that be? Swastika throw? Unquote. Anti-Semitism expert Ben Cohen, who is a senior editor of the Israel Project's magazine The Tower, told the Jerusalem Post on Monday that Burmester's statement were, quote, classic Soviet-style anti-Semitism, unquote. My friends, I'm not sure who decided to hold the Maccabee Games in Berlin, but that person can't be very bright. Item from The Hollywood Reporter. As Jon Stewart's final Daily Show approaches, the comedian has mercilessly mocked Fox News Channel, even comparing Roger Ailes to death. It's almost like he's daring the network's chairman and CEO to respond. Now he has. He's been after us for years, Ailes told The Hollywood Reporter after being contacted on Wednesday. Occasionally we pay attention, we think he's funny, we never took it seriously, and he never made a dent in us. Unquote. Item, this came in my email. 4 simple questions from a reputable attorney. My friends, listen to these questions. They're good ones. Number 1. Back in 1961, people of color were called Negroes. So how can the Obama birth certificate state that he's African American when the term wasn't even used at that time? Question 2. The birth certificate that the White House released lists Obama's birth as August 4th, 1961, and lists Barack Hussein Obama as his father. No big deal, right? At the time of Obama's birth, it also shows his father is age 25 years old, and that Obama's father was born in Kenya, Africa. This wouldn't seem like anything of concern, except the fact that Kenya did not even exist until 1963, 2 whole years after Obama's birth and 27 years after his father's birth. How could Obama's father have been born in a country that did not yet exist? Question 3. On the birth certificate released by the White House, the listed page of birth is Kapiolani Maternity and Gynecological Hospital. This cannot be because the hospital in question in 1961 was called the Kekolani Children's Hospital and Kapiolani Maternity Home, respectively. The name did not change to Kapiolani Maternity and Gynecological Hospital until after 1978, when the two hospitals merged. Question number 4. Perhaps a clue comes from Obama's book on his father. He states how proud he is of his father fighting in World War II. Now, I'm not a math genius, so I may need some help from you. Barack Obama's birth certificate says his father was 25 years old in 1961 when Obama was born. That would have put his father's date of birth approximately 1936. So just how many 3-year-olds fight in wars? Even in the latest stages of World War II, his father wouldn't have been more than 9 years old. Unquote. My friends, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you spin it, Barack Obama's supposed birth certificate stinks. It reeks of fraud. Who's going to investigate that fully? Item from the New York Post, the FBI investigation. Speaking of investigations, in the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's unsecured email account is not just a fact-finding venture, it's a criminal probe, sources told the Post on Wednesday. The feds are investigating to what extent Clinton relied on her home server and other private devices to send and store classified documents, according to a federal source with knowledge of the inquiry. It's definitely a criminal probe, said the source. I'm not sure why they're not calling it a criminal probe. Unquote. My friend, speaking of Hillary Clinton, I saw this on Facebook. It's a picture of her at the Watergate hearings back in the 1970s. Here's the caption. As a 27-year-old staff attorney for the House Judiciary Committee during the Watergate investigation, Hillary Rodham was fired by her supervisor, lifelong Democrat Jerry Zeifman. When asked why Hillary Rodham was fired, Zeifman said in an interview, quote, "Because she was a liar. She was an unethical, dishonest lawyer. She conspired to violate the Constitution, the rules of the House, the rules of the committee, and the rules of confidentiality." Unquote. My friends, it appears Hillary Clinton's been a lying pig for a very, very long time, and that the only laws she doesn't violate, for all I know, are the laws of nature. Of course, those very same laws of nature may indeed be violated by her bone-dense supporters and voters who will vote for her in the face of overwhelming argument, logic, and reason against doing so. And if those voters do indeed bend and break the laws of logic, well, then they will have violated the laws of nature. But I'm here to tell you, Hillary Clinton is scum. And remember that before you even think of potentially voting for her. We'll take a break. Real Truth marches on.
It's nothing more than a shot in the dark if you're taking supplements or following health programs without an accurate scientific evaluation of your health. From the comfort of your home or office, you can work personally with health expert Eileen Derby, a Dr. Wilson health practitioner who scientifically evaluates your current health and provides you a personalized program and affordable products. Get real results, get nutritional balancing, and GoHealthyNext.com. Call 866-463-4533. That's 866-463-4533. An emergency preparedness plan for your home, car, school, and office is a must. Knowing how to store water safely, survive extreme electronics, radios, and other supplies is easy. Their survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing realistic preparedness supplies at affordable prices. Stop by online or call 303-781-0343, 866-781-0343.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Our energy can be able to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom tailored capabilities and modest emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network. In business locker plan and Elizabeth reminds our listeners that the drug problem is well done. We know our kids will be approached at early ages. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who've had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples for their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from Elizabeth locker plan located at 366 Grand Street in Elizabeth, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalized HV and pork and complete custom process. Call 303-688-22. That's 303-688-22.
All right, folks, we're back, and the subject is still Donald Trump. I'm going to throw it over to Anderson Cooper, someone whose name I don't usually mention. He's a very left-wing TV personality on CNN. He interviewed Donald Trump, and I want you to hear what Trump has to say. Let's give a listen.
First of all, Hillary Clinton gave her first interview yesterday. You give interviews all the time. You're out there, you're talking to
All right, folks, here's what Anderson Cooper is trying to do. He's trying to nail Donald Trump and give Trump responsibility for the people who are hired not by his contractor, but by a subcontractor 35 years ago. Guys, tell me something. What does this have to do with what Trump would do as president? What does this have to do with the policies that he would implement and the steps he would take and the decisions he would make? 35 years ago, a subcontractor may or may not have hired illegal aliens. Anderson Cooper cannot possibly have a more delighted look on his face. You can go on the internet and see it yourself. He thinks he's nailing Trump. He's nailing nothing except the fact that people now realize, if they didn't before, and they should have, that Anderson Cooper is just a shill for the left wing and for the Democratic Party. His behavior could be called, by someone less sensitive than myself, anal retentive. Item from the Jewish press. Arabs on the Temple Mount violently beat up a non-Jewish French tourist who was visiting the Jewish holy site. According to the Arabs who were on the Temple Mount, the tourist reportedly took out and waved an Israeli flag near the Dome of the Rock, at which point he was attacked by the Muslim mob on the Temple Mount. He was hit in the head with a rock, unquote. My friends, same old Muslim savagery, same old Muslim hatred for Christians and Jews. And again, the thing that bothers me the most about this is that there are Arabs on the Temple Mount, that there's a mosque on the Temple Mount, that there are Arabs in the state of Israel. That's the core problem. We'll take a break. More Real Truth to come.
I'm Joe Jacobs, CEO